Spent nearly 10 hours today doing audio programming. There's some problems, man. I'm getting closer. So if you watch yesterday's video, you know that it's about timing. So this is the client and this is the server, right? And then this is your microphone. And then you've got some really nice speakers over here. Remember, every 10 milliseconds, right? The microphone expects like a frame of audio. It's like 485 numbers. It represents like the last 10 milliseconds of you speaking. It's like I have that data. And then also the speaker needs 10 milliseconds of data of sound to play. And they're all, you can't miss any of these, right? So that's like the problem. And also the client and server are like 100 milliseconds away. And like the latency changes. So basically what I've got going on is Opus, the codec that drives Discord, it's being used to like process each of these frames to make them really, really small so they can be sent over the network. And to smooth over like when I don't have these packets. Like whenever I don't have a packet, right? Whenever I don't have like an Opus last 10 milliseconds of data, like let's say this audio is you talking, right? For 10 milliseconds, and it's like right here, there's no more data, right? Opus will like kind of, if you tell it that like we don't have any data, it'll like kind of try and make it like, okay, well, it'll make you sound like a robot a little bit. But it kind of gets the job done to make it sound like these like gaps in audio aren't noticed. But for like the best sounding audio, or like for you to hear the other person at all, I need to be very consistent with these 10 millisecond like packets. So right now, the client sends like an input, like where the player wants to move and where they want to build blocks, every 50 milliseconds, right? And the server sends game state every 16 milliseconds. So already we've got kind of conundrum, right? With the client's inputs, I'm going to be like bundling around 5 to like 10 microphone inputs, depending on how screwed up the timing gets. So it's like, man, we've got a packet with like, I don't know, 8 audio packets, right? So the server goes and processes the game state. It's like, okay, it's time to send this person like what they heard. So this is only like 4 audio packets, right? So it's like, okay, it sends 4 audio packets over. Then it's like, okay, the speaker, like it consumes the audio over the next, what's 4 times 5? I mean 10. Wait, this doesn't work out. It's not 4. It's like 2 to 3. So we're gonna say 2 audios. So it's like you hear they're like 2 frames of audio. And then the server pulls from these 8, the two from this 8 audio. So this is now like 6, right? To implement this all, I've got like a queue system going on, right? You know, it's like the server remembers like 40 milliseconds of audio, like 4 of these frames, and then it pulls from the top like when it's time to send the client some audio. Oh man, I could use like Opus, like the codec. They have like a feature where you can merge these packets together. I just realized that that's like what that's for. But that's like a whole bunch of work because then it will output more than 2 packets of audio. I guess I could just buffer that for the playback. Never mind, I don't think that's a good idea. But anyways, actually, I got this all implemented today, and it's working, which is surprising, because I feel like I'm overlooking something. It's the same thing, that was like yesterday, but the latency is lower, there's no more error. However, there's a problem here, right? This printout is for when the server's like running behind. It can't keep up with the like how fast it should be processing the world. This means that like somehow the audio stuff I'm doing is slowing down the server too much. And it's not just that, but like I think because it's slowed down, it's uncovered a bug I had with the input to where building doesn't work anymore. Well, let me like explain those 2 things. So the reason why the server not keeping up is very concerning is because I'm not even doing any of the like directional audio processing yet. And so what I need to do is I need to like profile the code. So like we've got some code here, right? So like the question is like, why is it slow? What you do is you like chunk out different sections. You're like, okay, like you see like this is like the audio stuff. And then this is where I do the packet stuff. Like you give names to these things. And then the program, you like keep track of how long shit takes. And then you look at a graph. It looks like this, right? It's a graph that looks like this and it tells you like where all the time is being spent in the program. I need to do that, but for the server, right? Because now it's like too slow. I mean, it is in a debug build, but like it should still, like this doesn't really make any sense. Oh God, dude, I don't know how I'm going to do. The directional audio processing might need like multiple threads. It might need 16 threads because I have 16 maximum players. Or like each player gets their own thread that's doing the audio mixing. Yeah, that would make sense. And like yeah, but then like, man, this gets interesting quickly. What was that quote again? May you live in interesting times. It's a curse. This is a very interesting time for this program right now. Oh, and the bug where you can't build anymore? I actually think I know why that's happening. I stepped through it. Like, this is you, the player, right? Who knows what race they are? It's like, you go, actually, it's like, let's say there's like a ship here, and you go and you're like about to place a block here, and you click to like place a block. Like what happens? Well, the client sends an input packet, right? With the hand position and the grid that like the hand position is relative to. Now this is very critical because like as the player moves, right? Like the place where the player wanted to build probably like moved since like they clicked it right over the latency. The ship moves, the position is wrong. The position needs to be sent relative to like the grid you're building on, so that even when the grid drifts, the position is still like rock solid where you asked to build the block. Now this becomes a problem because I send the input in like bundles of like 4 to 5, right? It sends every 1/20th of a second. And so during that time, there's been like 4 to 5 frames of input. Let me just get to the point. I think what's happening is that like when you go and you're about to build it, right? Or sorry, it only happens when there's like when you're about to make a new grid. I think it's like you go and then you click, and then in the time that you click to build a new grid, the block is placed, and then now like the thing you're building is relative to that grid, but this grid doesn't exist yet. Because like when I said the block is placed, that happens over the course of 1 frame, right? Never mind. This explanation isn't making sense anymore now that I think about it and try to say it. So I might have to re-look into why this is happening. I'm really not sure why anymore. I'm excited to sleep tonight because I think I'll be better. I'll be able to solve these problems better tomorrow morning. I'm like hyped. Dude, I'm going to work like all tomorrow, man. There's so much shit to do. Yeah, but the server is slow and the building is broken. I'm sorry. There's no build today. I think for the daily builds in the Patreon, I'm going to get a week ahead, right? Like a week ahead of schedule, so I have like a buffer in case shit takes too long. And then I can reach multiple builds in one day, and that's all I'll have like perfect consistency. Maybe a week or a week and a half buffer. That way I can take a vacation and the daily builds don't stop. We don't take vacations, we're audio programmers. We just work on audio frames. Mostly audio. You know, now that I'm in the audio programming biz, I got the audio nomenclature. It's not what you see, it's what you hear. You guys want to hear a song I made? A rap song?
Fingers thump, one thumb, drumming on a drum. 1 hand, 2 hand, drumming on a drum. Dum diddy, dum dum dum.
Yeah, I'm famous on Spotify. I'm a famous rapper. You know, I'm making this game to advertise my rapping career. Bro, audio programmers like me put so much work into making shit sound good, and then all the voice lobbies are like,
you guys are all dog shit, dude. Yo, this team is dog shit for real. Nobody got any fucking point.
oh, that worked for no reason. It just sounds shitty anyways. Because everybody like turns up the gain on their mics to be funny. They make it all clip and shit. What's the use of me doing all this like anti-clipping stuff if it's like being shitty is like funny? I should just make the audio really shitty everywhere. That's what I should do. Anyways, I'm gonna work more tomorrow. Don't even like and subscribe. Don't join the Discord. Don't do anything. Sit there and think about your situation.